This little video is just going to talk you through some of the basic components of a PC. We're not going to power it on or anything, we're just going to show you and talk about just the main things that you find. For extra detail, obviously you need to look up some other stuff, but I just want to run you through it. So we got your typical tower PC case. This is a few years old, this computer, so you'll see some cronky old stuff on it, but the basics are the same. So on the front we have got space at the top for optical storage. Okay, so I've got, on this one I've got a DVD-ROM, so that's read only, and I've got a CD-RW, so that's a rewritable CD drive, so that can burn discs. Okay, whereas the DVD-ROM can only read discs. That's the difference between rewritable and ROM. Okay, there is space for another optical disc on this one, but obviously I haven't got one, so you've got a piece of blank plastic in front. Below that there is space for a floppy disk drive. No floppy disk drive in this, and you won't really find them on machines. It's a bit of a legacy piece of equipment now. Nobody uses floppy disk. Okay, there are very few cases that you might use a floppy disk. You might want to look up why people might still use them. We've got a power button, so you press that to turn the machine on. Below that are a couple of lights. Obviously they're not lit up. We've got a light that tells us that the PC's on and there's power. Okay, that's for fault finding, and another light that will flash as the hard disk is being accessed. Below that is a very small reset button to force the computer to reboot. Again, we tend to not use these anymore because you normally have a facility for like holding down the power button for a few seconds, which you might have had to do at college now and again when the computers crash. Right down at the bottom we have got a couple of sockets, USB sockets. Okay, they're for connecting the thousands of different devices, including things like silly desktop toys and lights and things, as well as useful things like memory sticks. Okay, so that's the front. Let's have a look around the back. Okay, right, there's a lot of things on the back. Let's start at the top. Up here is the PSU, or power supply unit. It's got a large fan that is used to extract the heat from the power supply because they get hot. Okay, so that blows out of the case. It's got a socket for plugging into the mains, and it's got an on-off switch. Okay, just a little rocker switch. Sometimes it's that little switch that stops your computer coming on. You might be thinking, oh, the computer's not working. It might be that. Okay, that's always one thing to look at. Have you turned it on? Okay, and have you plugged it into a wall? Below that you can see there's another fan. Fans are important in PCs. A bit of fluff coming out there. Fans are important on PCs because the computers generate lots of heat. Okay, if you've got a laptop you'll hear it regularly rev the fans up when it's doing a lot of work. Okay, right down at the bottom you can see there is another fan. I had to install extra fans on this to keep it cool because it was getting really hot, this PC. It's not in use at the minute. And then you'll see all these empty spaces. These are for extra cards that you can plug into the computer, and you'll see that when we look in the second video inside. Okay, at the moment there's only one card. Normally these would be filled with a little piece of metal so you wouldn't actually see into the computer. Handy for mice when you've got them in the garage. But you can see there is one card here, and this is the graphics card. Now this is a reasonably old graphics card, so it's got a VGA socket, which is an analog video connector. It's got a DVI, which is a digital video connector, and it's got an S-video connector. What you'll find on modern graphics cards is they'll have two DVI connectors and a HDMI, because they're the modern ways that we connect equipment together. Okay. Moving further up, this little panel of stuff is directly connected to the motherboard. Okay, so on this motherboard we have got a network card that's integrated, so that's an RJ45 socket. We have got 4 further USB sockets, so this motherboard can give you access to 6 USB sockets. We have got an old school connector, although still used, Firewire. Always has this funny shape on it. It's not rectangular shape, it's got like 2 chopped off corners. Okay, this is mainly for video equipment, so video cameras, and it allows extra signals for controlling video cameras for like record, stop and things like that. Most devices use USB these days, so Firewire's become obsolete really. Further up from that we have got the 3 standard audio connectors, so we've got a microphone, a speaker and a line-in connector. Above that are 2 further ones. Now this motherboard supports surround sound, so it uses 5 of these sockets in total to support all the different speaker systems. Okay, we've actually got on this as well digital sockets. If I just take those little caps off, see if I can get one off. These are optical audio connectors, and there's 2 of those. Okay, in and out. I've never used those, but yeah, if you want to put fancy equipment, audio equipment hooked up, then that's the way to do it really, rather than all these analog connections. Now we've got here this purple one, or pink, is the parallel printer port. Okay, this is the old way of connecting printers. Very slow. Couldn't have very long cables connected to that either, but that's obsolete really now. You won't find them on modern PCs. Okay. Next to that is the serial port, and again that's obsolete. That's how we used to connect mice and gamepads and things like that, but we use USB now for most devices, which is probably a good thing, so that manufacturers only need to worry about one device interface. Okay, and right at the top, the thing that you still tend to get on PCs, you don't get them on laptops, but you do get them on PCs, are the PS2 sockets. The green one for the keyboard, the purple one for a mouse. Okay, right, that's the main external connectors. Just going to take the case off, and in the next video we're going to have a look at the internals. So I'll just whip the case off. Usually just a couple of screws on a PC. Sometimes they're not even screwed. Okay, and that's what the insides look like. Cables, wires. Okay, and we'll carry that on in the next video.